Hey, it's Monday night, right here on RiverWestRadio.com. You're listening to Extempo Radio. My name's Brendan O'Day. I'm the producer of the show, and the things you'll hear over the next hour represent the views of Extempo Radio and people that are calling it and making them. All opinions and quotations in no way represent River West Radio and are the sole responsibility of the producer, guests, and callers. River West Radio is not liable for any legal issues arising from the content of this program. Well, that sounded awfully official. So what's going on in your world, River West? Tell you, comedy's dying a hard death here in Milwaukee. I closed up an open mic last week, Wednesday, to be able to focus a bit more on the road and to create a situation where we didn't have to charge comedians a cover charge or a drink minimum. It'd be nice if the place we had the open mic would have had regular office hours or regular bar hours, so we could have maintained our little bit of relationship with the local neighborhood that we'd created. And when that stopped back in June, then it was just a kind of a ticking time bomb, or more like a coffee cup with a leak in the bottom that just slowly seeped out at a rate that was barely noticeable until all of a sudden we got to September and, hey, we weren't drawing any of the local neighborhood folks anymore. And it was just like, hey, watch this death happen right here live in front of you. So we've closed that open mic at Stage Right inside the Miramar. Storied history there. Used to be a great place and used to be run by competent people who really tried to make stuff work, and it doesn't seem to be running that same way. Hopefully there's some changes in the midst, but I don't know if we'll be back out there. So anyhow, thanks for all the support from everybody over the last duration. We've had a great run there. We went exactly 52 weeks. We entertained headliners from around the country, really. It was pretty impressive. And from around the world. We even had comics from England and Canada show up and spend time on our stage. And there's not a lot of opportunity in the performance world where you can just drop in, say hello, and make stuff happen. So anyway, I think we were fortunate to have the people we had hang out. The comics just made it better. The comics were always awesome, and I just really appreciate the support that we had. The goal here is we'll bring it back in another locale once I've had a chance to shake out my schedule a little bit. A bunch of crazy things going on in my personal world of comedy, but we'll see how that's going to factor into being able to do shows or do a regular show here again in Milwaukee on a weekly basis with an open mic. So, what do we got coming up? We've got some dates coming up this week. Friday, I will be 19th. I will be in Richland Center, Wisconsin. I don't know if an event invite ever even got created for that. I'll be performing with Jeff Lampton out in the middle of nowhere, about 10 miles west of Richland Center, which is already 75 miles from anything that matters. And we're going to be out there in the middle of nowhere telling jokes to a great crowd of people that actually want to pay us money to do comedy. So we're pretty happy about that. Then what else can you see? There's Saturday night, the 20th, I'll be at the Why Not 3, 1853 East Kenilworth Place for the original Daryl Hill show. I'm only going to be there for a short bit of the evening. I'll be there for just a short guest spot, but if you want to come check out the jokes I told the night before that actually worked, I'll be telling those there. And then coming up in November, we've got an honor flight show out at the Highland House in Mequon, and trying to make some other things happen here in November, but exciting things coming on the horizon for Malcolm Tents Presents and all kinds of good things like that. So also Wednesday this week, 2 days, please make plans to head on over to the Schenck Hall and for the Dobie Maxwell Josh Albert fundraiser. Josh Albert is a local police officer who was hit head on the freeway by a drunk driver driving the wrong way, and you know, he really kind of took one for the team. That could have been a family of 4, and instead it was Josh. And so the comedians are going to hold a fundraiser in his honor. And there's been a bit of media discussion about it, and hopefully we're going to get a bunch of the community folks out. Remember, people, the statistics say there's about 7,600 of you that represent the potential comedy buying public on any given weekend in Milwaukee. So if we could just capture, you know, we could just capture a couple thousand of that, that'd be an awesome night and be something substantial we could do for Josh. So appreciate you tag teaming onto that. Come on along. That is Wednesday night, 8 p.m. at Shank Hall. And what is that, Farwell? South end of Farwell Avenue there, right before it disappears into Prospect. So I think that's what I've got going on. Remember to check mkefunny.com, Jason Evans' fabulous website that updates you on all things comedy. Jason Evans will be on that show Wednesday night performing, so make sure you get a chance to come check out Jason's latest material. And for any comedy consumption here in the Milwaukee area, the place to go to find out when, where, how, why, go to mkefunny.com. It's a great place to go. So it's a little after 7 o'clock here on a Monday night here in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Can you believe that stuff? It's October is almost half over. It's happening. It's October 15th at noon tomorrow, the official halfway point. Hope you have your Halloween plans intact. Hope you have your goals and dreams to be the slut or the cross-dresser or the interesting maniacal person who doesn't conform to anything but the latest trends. I'm sure we'll have a lot of new Batman people. There's going to be some Bane costumes out there. Can't wait to see the people who make Bane costumes out of cutlery and a little bit of flatware. So go ahead and get crazy and look like 97% of the rest of the population, everybody. That is awesome. Simply awesome. So, yeah, a couple of weird things going on in the world today. Don't usually do a lot of current events, but every now and again something comes up that's just kind of disturbing, strange, whatnot. But apparently in Florida, because everything that's weird happens in Florida. It usually seems to be the way it goes. That's great. Yeah, I just found out my story is actually from, it was carried by a Florida publication, but it actually happened in St. Louis. So H.D. Reeves, if you're listening, this is about you, apparently. In Florissant, Missouri, a couple filed a lawsuit today against doctors that first removed a baby's head from the body of the child as it was attempting to be delivered naturally, vaginally, but not completely. Then the doctor, this is where it gets great, shoved the baby back inside the mother and then decided they needed to do a cesarean. But this was all after this is all after the first doctor, the first OB-GYN, had decided that it should be a cesarean birth, period, because this baby apparently was huge. And then the baby came very early, and this other doctor demanded to do it vaginally, and that's when he basically killed this child. And I'm going to read right directly from the lawsuit here, and it goes, Webb separated the baby's head from his cervical spine. When defendant Webb separated the child's head from his cervical spine, the body was still inside the birth mother. The lawsuit is quoted as saying, when Webb separated the boy's head from his cervical spine, blood from the arteries and veins in the child's neck shot out, splattered and or spilled out into the labor and delivery room in plain view of and in close proximity to the mother. While personnel moved Betts to an operating room, the mother to the operating room while still on her labor and delivery bed, and before Betts was administered any anesthetic or anesthesia, Webb began making the cesarean section incision into her abdomen, causing her significant physical pain and suffering. During the course of the cesarean section, Webb surgically and completely removed the boy's head from his neck and torso. This is somebody who has a medical license. I gotta believe if I was delivering a baby on the pool table of a bar room, I don't think I could do as bad a job as this guy did. And if I started to feel like I was removing a child's head, I gotta believe I would have the good sense to stop pulling. I mean, if you've done this more than once, if you've delivered a baby more than once, don't you think that you would have the temerity to know, approximately what the, and I know he's an OB-GYN. I gotta assume he's done more than one. Maybe this was his first one, who knows, but that's fairly extreme. So, if you have any questions or comments or concerns, call us here at 414-935-2951. Talk to us about crazy birthing circumstances and what you think this fine doctor's dealio is. So, just one of those nights. Just find the weirdest stuff in the news, and the fact that it comes on. That comes across my radar screen is just amazing. Same time that's going on, teen was shot dead during a home invasion. Prank. Just was going to prank his friends, wanted to fake him out that he was breaking in, and instead he winds up shot. So be very careful come August or April 1st. You just be careful of those. Make sure your pranks generally don't involve scaring somebody who's trying to protect their home. And it's a good way to, yeah, there you go. Meningitis cases are up to 205 nationwide. So I'm looking for an early Christmas this year. So get myself a little meningitis. Have a nice holiday season. Recovering from horrible illness. That's awesome. And then tell you, it just keeps getting better and better. At the Bumblebee tuna plant in Santa Fe Springs, California. Gathered to honor the memory of the man who was identified, who made it inside one of the steam ovens and then could not get out of the steam oven at the Bumblebee tuna plant. Boy, I tell you, they only say Bumblebee tuna like 20 times in this article, so you'll have no trouble finding it. So we've got they always come in threes. The good deaths always come in threes. So those are three pretty wacky stories in one shot. So that's the way that goes. That's the way that goes. Anyway, spent my weekend up on the peninsula, on the mitten of the thumbprint of Wisconsin, Door County. And haven't been surrounded by that much ostentatious wealth in a long time. Watched people drinking and acting the fool like I don't think many of them have done in a very, very long time. But it was quite impressive to see so many 60-year-old women parading through a bar at 1:15 in the morning, revealing various parts of their bodies that I don't think that they would be commonly given to do so. But it was a nice weekend. Got to perform a little and did some interesting work, and we missed a shot to do a performance at Sonny's Pizzeria in Fish Creek. If you could ever get to Sonny's in Fish Creek, get yourself to Sonny's in Fish Creek. It's a good time. And Huspies is the bar. We tend to hang out up in Sister Bay. And the fine folks at Runyon's Resort were awfully good to us and took care of us really nicely. The highlight of the weekend, I guess, was checking out a 35,000 square foot home. That was quite an interesting little experience, and to know that the single biggest concern and challenge with the property is the fact that it's got a humidity problem in the indoor swimming pool, largely driven by the way the jacuzzi was placed in the room in such a way that it concentrates humidity in an area that wasn't properly vented initially, and so now there's going to have to be some reworking of that system, and that is definitely a 1%er problem when you're getting down to dealing with the humidification system and the balancing of a humidity system in a 35,000 square foot home. Yeah, you're hitting a different level of problems. Oprah apparently came and even looked at this house, so that would be the big rub. Said Oprah has looked at this place. It's pretty great. So turned it down. Apparently, I don't know what her problem was, but she didn't like Door County, Wisconsin. I think it was probably more of a Packers thing. I think she's just that big of a Bear fan. No, not really. Anyway, so that was the weekend. Wound up stuck up there until late Sunday. Made it to the Sunday open mic at Rounding Third with a Packer game on. That, of course, was interestingly attended, but had some very interesting conversations with Eric Kokonis and James Green afterwards. We had a fabulous evening, and discussed a lot of interesting things comedy-wise. I think I probably had one of my better comedy conversations that I've had in a long time that night. So the reality is that comedy's having a rough go of it right now in the month of October in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Tonight, if you're not doing anything, make sure you get on down to Carte Blanche at 5th and Washington, down in the fashionable 5th Ward. You want to get down there because tonight is the last night of the Carte Blanche Cast of Killers Lucky 13 open mic. Its name finally got the better of it. Eric Thorson hosts that great open mic, and unfortunately that will be ending tonight. So you might want to trek that out and get on down there, see some fine comedy from the Cast of Killers and other various comedians who will hopefully now make it kind of a night to wish it well and fine send-off and say adios to Carte Blanche. Largely comes from the preponderance of ridiculous programming on television, which, when you see one of those reality shows, it's simply a finely edited. It's really what you're looking at is a very strong exercise in editing. Those shows aren't nearly as interesting as they appear. They film hours and hours and hours of programming to be able to come up with that half an hour of drivel, of dreck, that it just doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But they do it, and they do it over and over and over again. And the only reason they do it over and over again is because the consuming public buys those Nielsen hits that get those shows renewed, and buys their videos, and follows Kim Kardashian in every stupid paper that she goes to, and just does everything there is possible to put
Hello?
Snooki on the cover of People magazine again, and to what's the new one? Duck Threat. What the heck's that thing? Some stupid show on the Discovery Channel is something about duck camp or something like that. Guy's a duck hunter. Woo! That's some amazing stuff. Duck hunting. That'll get you charged up. And because he's a crazy old guy, they'll of course put you on TV, and you guys will all watch it. When you could watch all the unedited versions of that same kind of crap at an open mic on the south side of the downtown of Milwaukee, and you could edit in your own mind your own version of that nuttiness that's really just kind of train wreck television. It's just basically cringeworthy television that makes you go, ooh, God, at least I'm better than that guy. I'm not some crazy old fool living in a swamp in Mississippi. That makes me better. I don't understand. I really don't understand what drives people to do that, to pay attention to that, and to buy the advertising and buy the products and tune into a network like that. But I can't figure out half the stuff I read, so that's just one of those things that shall go on making me just work and wonder my head that maybe I don't deserve to understand anything. So, but I guess we're having a little bit of an election coming up here sometime soon, I guess you just can't believe pretty much anything anybody says anymore. The president claims we got back every dime on the bailout money the same day that the Congressional Budget Office puts out a report saying we lost $24 billion on the program. It looks like we're going to have about a $16 billion loss on the motor vehicle bailout, on the automotive industry bailout, and I'm just I'm going to see if I can work the numbers out. Let's see. That's so if we have 300 million, let's say we got 200 million adults in this country. So if you took 16 billion and divided that by the 200 million people that we've got, that's $80 a pop. I think you should be able to walk into any General Motors or Chrysler dealership and just pretty much demand $80 from the first person you see, salesman, guy that works the rack, or you should be able to go put, let's say they give you 55 cents a mile on your taxes. I think that you should be able to put about 140 miles on any car on the lot. I think they should have to have 30 cars at every dealership that you as an American say, if you walk in and prove your U.S. citizenship, so you illegal aliens, you can't get in on this. But you should be able to just go in, sign out a car, and drive it for about 140 miles because the government's giving you 55 cents a mile to deduct. Well, I think you should be able to deduct it back the other way, consume that deduction in a 55 cent a mile circumstance, and run that baby out for about 145 miles. So that's my plan, to get our money back out of General Motors and Dodge. And I guess I'd probably be inclined to go more the Dodge route. I'd probably want to take out like an SRT or perhaps a maybe if they'd put up a Z06 Corvette, I might take that out. But there's really not a lot interesting to drive in either of those manufacturers' lines. Maybe a Chevy Volt, and I'd kind of like to be able to take that Chevy Volt out and just be able to. If I could take that Chevy Volt out, I'd love to be able to take it out and just run it until the battery died. And I guess that's like 26 miles. So. And then just start asking people if they had a jump, and just walk up to people with jumper cables, because obviously you need a plug-in. It's not going to work that way. But hey, calling into our show tonight, our good friend Nate Ford is on the line all the way from Kewaunee, Wisconsin. How's it going, Nate Ford?
Doing great. Currently, we're at a Sam's Club in Green Bay picking up some pizza supplies for Fagan's Pizzeria.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's the new venture of Serena Corp up there in Kewaunee, Wisconsin. How's business was popping on Friday. Did you get any word on how Saturday came down?
Saturday was busy as well, busier than Friday night.
No way.
And so much that they ran out of product that night, and our shipment comes in on Monday, and so we had to shut down for Sunday.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Wow. That is...
And then on Sunday, during the Packer game, we had 50 missed calls from 5 to 6.
Sure. Yeah, I tell you, that's a big day. Sunday in football season is the day you don't want to not be able to deliver. Holy cow. That's unfortunate. Wow, that's too bad. So does the delivery coming in Monday, did you guys get all squared away for today, and now it's just an extra round of supplies here, or what's the deal?
Yeah, just a few extra supplies that weren't on the list.
Wow. Wow. Well, that's not comedy. That's quite a bit of tragedy right there. Oh my gosh, that's too bad.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
When there's tragedy, there's comedy pursues.
Yes, absolutely. I feel that way. I'm still nursing a banged up knee from the fallout from Saturday night, along about 3 in the morning. 3 in the morning Sunday. I just went outside to get some air, and it was raining harder than I thought it would be at that time of the morning, and everything was wet outside. So I went to grab the handle on the sliding door to slide the door back open, and my hand slipped off, and that unbalanced me just enough in my state of extreme gin and Jägermeister consumption that I just started going backwards. And every step I took, the angle decreased of my perpendicularity to the floor, and then and that just made the angle at which I was pushing back with my foot, it propelled me outward instead of upward, and it just became every step I was going faster than the last, and just kept backing up faster until I finally was like, there was even a point where I had a moment to go, why don't you just go down? You're going to be going, by now, if you'd have fallen down after the third step, you would have been going half the speed you're going right now. Why do you keep trying to save yourself? You're going to go down. I had that entire thought and then made contact with the deck in such a spectacular way that I can touch my knee on one side and the pain is felt all the way around on the other side. I don't know I don't know if that makes that an actual ACL tear. Or just an ACL scratch or what, but I did something in there that it just doesn't feel good. So it's, I don't know. I might have to scrape together some money to get an MRI done to see if I actually tore my ACL or MCL or something there. It's on the outside, so I think that's MCL. But it's, yeah, it was a great night. That was, it
was insane. I couldn't believe that you just mentioned by text about Craigslist. We could have found a sound system on there.
There were only 7 of them for sale east of Green Bay. There were just 7 of them available that night that we could have scored. Oh gosh! And the only reason I knew to do that when I got home, I woke up the computer that sits on the editing table at home, and I apparently had been looking for a backup PA system in Milwaukee about a week ago. It's the last time I used that computer, and that's the search that came up in Milwaukee was for a PA system, and I'm like, never even dawned on me to try and find a PA system for Sonny's Pizzeria. So it's unfortunate.
Actually, I would like to have seen us do a comedy show after all the drinking we did.
That would have been, I think that would have been fabulous. Yeah, if we could have done a midnight show there, that would have been outstanding. I think we would have been incoherent, but interesting. Certainly interesting.
Exactly.
So, I don't know if you saw on the old Facebook today, but Carte Blanche's open mic is ending tonight. I think comedy is preparing to die a significant death here in Milwaukee. I don't know what's going on.
Oh, my God. What's going on with the world?
I don't know. Maybe time to move on from Milwaukee. It might be time to duck out and move on to a new home.
Well, they say in order to make it in comedy, you have to move away from your hometown.
Yeah, that's what I did. So what's your excuse?
I have no clue. I keep moving. That's my problem, I guess.
Yeah, there you go. That's, yeah.
Eventually, one start over will work.
Yeah, one of these has to. Fits and starts, restart. So, so we've got the I've got this silly show out in Richland Center Friday night, and then a show in. And then I've got the Darrell Hill show the next night back here in Milwaukee. Anything coming up on your radar screen? Is there anything happening for you in the next near future?
Well, this Friday night at Diggins Pizzeria, we're doing a comedy show. And I don't know if you remember Bernie at all, the guy who stayed with one of Ken's friends.
Oh, sure, yeah.
He was recently diagnosed with cancer.
Oh, no.
So we're kind of throwing a little bit of a benefit show. I don't know what's going to happen, but just because I know he can't make any ends meet right now. So with this in the mixture, we're going to try to help out. So Chad Bonin, Jeff Fall, myself, and Kim Banks are doing a kind of a free comedy show, but with donations suggested, and all proceeds go to Bernie.
That is awesome. That's going to be Friday nights at about 9 o'clock.
Yep, 9 o'clock Friday at Diggins Pizzeria off of 42 in Kewaunee, Wisconsin.
South end of town, so you get into Kewaunee on either 29 or 42, so if you're coming off the door, come down 42 right down into Kewaunee through Algoma. If you're coming out from Green Bay, just take that 29 shot straight out there and check that out on Friday night at 8 p.m. Stop in a little early. The pizza is amazing. The boys put together an amazing menu there. Ken's new dough recipe that came from New York, I guess. Is that right?
Yep, his grandma's secret recipe.
It is an amazing dough for their thick crust pizza. It's got such a great light texture to it, but it's just an amazing dough. The thin crust is great too. What's that?
It's thick but fluffy, like me. Hey, how you doing?
Hey, wow. And you went New York at the same time. That's great.
I did.
But the thin crust is great too, and for you carb watchers, just make sure you go with the thin crust. But it's still a great pizza. They really load it up. I don't think I've ever seen anybody put as much toppings and cheese on as Ken has you guys do, and that is just it's just amazing.
And then this Saturday night, me and Chad Bonin are venturing out to Dundee, Wisconsin, at it's called the Roadhouse. Our friend Kyle Wagner, if that's his real name, had to show up, and we are going to perform with the wonderful Woody Bruce. And
wait a minute, wait. So in Dundee, Wisconsin, that's on Saturday night?
Yep.
I am actually disappointed that I'm not going to be able to be there. I would actually love to see this. So this is you. Now wait a minute. There's going to be a serious issue here. The issue, of course, being Woody Bruce is, I'm sure, going to have to demand a headline, right?
Well, I think so. I mean, he's been in it longer than I have.
That's going to be in Dundee, Wisconsin. That's in the beautiful Kettle Moraine, which is like just nearly impossible to get to from anywhere. It is down Highway 67, off of, so you'd have to go, boy, this is a tough get. Wow, it's near the, wow, there's nothing. It's not near anything. It's actually near the Sheboygan Marsh State Wildlife Area. Oh. So I'm looking for, but I don't think that means anything because I think the Sheboygan Marsh, it is. What do you know? I didn't know. What's he doing way up there? He is.
I have no clue.
Because isn't Mr. Wagner, I'm going to call him that from now on, Mr. Wagner Reese Wagner.
Reese Wagner.
Did I get off into the wrong area here? What the heck?
Yeah, I actually have no clue where Dundee is myself, so I'm glad that you're actually looking that up.
Well, what I'm seeing is that it's north of West Bend, and I don't believe that's the case. I think this is what it's showing. I thought it was way south. I thought it was down out near where rumor has it Mr. Wagner, Reese Wagner, is living out in the deep part of the, I thought he was out near Eagle, but if he's up near Dundee, holy cow, I had no idea. That's crazy. But this is showing, hey, now this is Google. This is Google Maps. It could be completely wrong. There's a good, strong possibility of that. But yeah, it's not too far from, well, it's not close, but it's not too far. Basically what you do is come down 43, and then just head over on 57, or I'm sorry, on 28. You just take 28 over, and then it's just like this County Road F off of 28, and you're right there. It's not a short jaunt, but it's also, you know, not massive. So the bigger challenge, I would think, is that looks like it's awfully remote out there. You might be the only game in town. That
fantastic.
You know, that's always got its own allure. Yeah, it's about 2 hours from Kewaunee. It's about 89, 90 miles, but there's a lot of two-lane involved in it. Yeah, I thought it was a lot. I thought he was way down south doing that, right near closer to the border with Illinois than middle of the state here. You're closer to Fond du Lac than you are to Sheboygan. So that's coming up on Saturday. That should be a fun show.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. I feel bad for Chad Bonin. He's actually going to drive farther to get you than he is if he would have gone from his house right to the show.
Exactly.
The distance from Neenah to Kewaunee is greater than Neenah to Dundee.
Hey, roll with me, baby. You'll get the places.
Hey, I tell you, it's the way we can turn your 50-minute drive into 4 hours. This is the way we'll make it happen.
Why not?
That'll happen that way. That's great. Yeah. So, anything else coming up in the coming weeks here that we should know about?
No, not really. That's about it for now.
Fabulous.
That's how depressing my schedule is.
So what's in the shopping cart right now? What have you guys been scoring there?
Well, right now, we're working on, with Brendan O'Day, in fact, a little tour called the Red, White, and Blue Tour to help out the vets the proper way, and also just making the shows better.
Hey, I think that's a great idea, but I literally meant, what's in the shopping cart at Sam's Club right now?
Oh, yes. Boy, awkward. We have butt plugs. Why would we have that? No, we have
wow.
We have
Those are Brita filters, man. Those are Brita filters. You're misreading. You should have stayed in school. You should have stayed in school.
Brita, yes. No, we have pizza boxes. We have paper towels. And then looks like we have laundry detergent, but I think that's for the house.
They sell pizza boxes at your Sam's Club?
I believe so. That's what's in the box.
That is an astoundingly great Sam's Club. Holy cow. I'm 90% sure that my Sam's Club doesn't have pizza boxes. That's amazing. Holy cow. That's crazy. I'm impressed. Well, that's that's like the worst thing ever, to run out of boxes. We usually kept an extra like 3 weeks worth of boxes all folded up, because you just never want to be able to say, hey, really sorry that can't deliver that to you here. No, you can't take that food home with you. What are you talking about? Wow. But yeah, how could it's one of those things. How do you predict the night that you had Friday and Saturday? As good as everything's been going, as quickly as everything's kind of launched for Diggins, it's one of those things, trying to predict, how much stuff do you have on hand, and then you catch a month, you catch a month like the middle of December, and you end up throwing away a third of your food.
We've had this open for about maybe a month and a half, 2 months now.
Yeah, 2 months about.
And the previous owner had it for 9 years.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go off what he has had.
Sure.
But we're introducing kind of a newer product, which is just skyrocketing in this town. Something new, something different. And this is Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, we're just dead. Just slow. It was weird. And then Thursday rolls around, boom, we get hit. Friday, get hit. And then Saturday, get hit.
And Sunday would have been another blowout day. But if you think about that, if you had a slow Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the Thursday, Friday, Saturday was so big that it actually wiped out any declines on those days to the extent that you're out of supplies by Sunday, that's a huge 3-day swing. That's amazing. And a good thing, you know, it's one of those things, unfortunately, you have to start getting a handle on sooner rather than later. But I'm just happy that the place is coming around. And I think a lot of that is the attitude. You know, people come in there and they're treated differently than they may have been in the past. I've seen ridiculously happy people there is what I saw. So that's a good thing. People really pleased and satisfied as they're heading out. I'm sure there's nobody that could possibly walk out of there thinking they're not getting value for their money. That's for sure. I've never seen that much stuff thrown on a pizza for the prices you guys are charging. But at the same time, that's a rough thing to have to make up on. If you haven't done so already, capture all those phone numbers of people who called in to place orders on Sunday and offer them like a $5 off coupon when they come in. Just give them a special code or something to say, hey, we're sorry we weren't here for you, but we want you to come back.
That's actually a really good idea.
Yeah, I would just do that just to let them know, and you know, might even, if you can get them on the phone for even a couple of seconds, just say, hey, we got blown out to the tune of 250% more than we ever had done in those 3 days, so it really took us out, and we're sorry that we weren't able to meet your needs, but we appreciate a second chance. Any order over $10, we'll take $5 off. Any order over $20, we'll take $7.50 off. Any order over $30, we'll take $10 off, and just give them a coupon that really, really thanks them for coming back. Because that's a tough thing when you call someplace, it says it's open, and then they miss them. You know, when I was with Domino's, if somebody complained about their pizza order at their door, we'd ask them if they had time to wait for a replacement pizza, and we guaranteed it would be there in 20 minutes. And this was just our little franchise. This was not a corporate policy or a Domino's policy, but what it did for us was we just ended up with customers for life out of this. It was amazing, where we would remake the pizza that they wanted. We would offer them the opportunity to keep the pizza they didn't want if they just wanted to keep it and refrigerate it and eat it later or whatever. We would return their money, whether it was their check, we would return the actual check, and we would then present them with a free pizza coupon for their next pizza free. So for complaining, not only did they get the problem rectified, but they got a very substantial apology from us in the form of their money back and their pizza. And if they were paying with cash, they usually gave at least half of that to the driver as a tip for having to come back twice. And people they would just sit there stunned, just going, who responds that way to a complaint? And we're just like, hey, we just don't want to lose you as a customer. And what would happen is the way we tracked people, it would normally, if they were outside of our once every 21-day orders, it would move them 2 categories up. So if they were somebody who ordered pizza from us once every 90 days, it would move them into a once every 30-day order just by going through that experience. It was so amazing. And just built, these things very quickly paid for themselves. But anyway, so I'm going to let you guys finish up your shopping. Nate Ford, thank you so much for coming on the show tonight and chatting a little bit.
Definitely.
Make sure you guys go check out Diggins Pizza on Friday night, 8 p.m. Get in there about 7 o'clock. Get yourself a pizza. Get some food. Sit down. And
it's a good cause.
And do that for our man. Is that Benji? Bernie.
Bernard,
I'm sorry. Yeah. Take care of Bernie. That's a tough thing to go through, and stop in at Diggins on the south end of Kewaunee, Wisconsin. It's a great time. Head out from Green Bay. Check that out. Thanks so much, Nate. We'll talk to you again, man.
All right.
That's Nate Ford here on the radio. And that's that's what comics do. On Wednesday night again at 8 p.m. at Shank Hall. There's going to be a huge benefit for Josh Albert. Dobie knows him not even directly. He knows him through somebody else. I don't know if he even met Josh, but Josh has a lot of bills that aren't going to be covered in the process of this. And so comedians that have some artistic merit and some gift to provide, They'll go up and they'll do a comedy show. They'll cover their own expenses, and they'll put on a show like this all for the benefit of somebody in need. And I don't know that I've ever seen any group more willing to participate in things like that than the average comedian. And what Nate was alluding to there, the Red, White, and Blue tour is going to be a new veteran-focused comedy tour put on by our fabulous friend Ken Banks, Nate Ford, myself, and then we will grab various headliners from across the country as we head out on this adventure that hopefully will be starting up sometime in January. Watch for some of our introductory shows that will be taking place throughout Wisconsin in November and December. We'll be looking for cities like Eau Claire, La Crosse. You'll be able to see us in Madison and Janesville, Kenosha, Racine, Sheboygan, Manitowoc, Green Bay. Marinette, I believe, is going to be one of our stops. Nice little downtown theater there. Stevens Point. I think that's it for now, because I don't think we want to necessarily get up into Superior in the heart of December. But watch for that tour. It's the Red, White, and Blue comedy tour. And it's going to be a great time. It'll be a great night, and just watch for information on that. I'm sure there'll be a Facebook page, Red, White, and Blue Comedy, and you'll be able to see us right there. So check that out. We'll get that up and rolling for you here in the not too distant future, and you'll be able to see how all this stuff plays out. So anyway, 7:46 here tonight on River West Radio. This has been Extempo Radio. We have great programming for you left here for the rest of the night. I see some dude rolling up with a Congo. It's going to be a special night of music intermixed with commentary, I'm sure. And hey, it's a good time. Support riverwestradio.com as best you can, and we just try to make your life better through the exposure of media and interesting voices and interesting ideas. So it's been one of those nights. Talked about a lot of things, covered a lot of ground. Don't feel like I got anywhere. But if you get a chance, come on out Saturday night at the Why Not 3 on Kenilworth in Milwaukee. I'll be performing at the original Daryl Hill show. And if you'd like to buy a ticket or two, I've got tickets. They're only $10 a piece. Come on out and see a great show. Chuck is going to be the headliner that night. That is awesome. That guy's amazing. Daryl Hill's your host, and come see a comedy legend right here in Milwaukee at Why Not 3 on Kenilworth in Milwaukee, Saturday night, 9 p.m. Thanks so much. I've been Brennan O'Day. You guys have been great. Thanks for tuning in to Extempo Radio. So long.